Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm taking part in a blog hop for Simon Says Stamps' latest release. And this is the stamp set from the release that I'm going to be using. It's called Lovely Spring. And I'm going to be doing a bunch of stamping and some masking and essentially creating a one-layer card, except I do pop it up off the surface of the card. So I'm going to start by stamping the heart in the stamp set in Simon Says Stamp Pale Blush Pink ink. And I'm just using a Sizzix stamp pad underneath this because I was concerned about this really solid stamp not stamping well, and using a foam surface like that just helps with all the stamping. So after I stamped the heart, I placed my white cardstock on top of my grid mat here just to help me apply some masking tape a little bit more straight. And I had it dissect that heart right through the center. And now I'm going to be stamping all of the little floral images in the stamp set, the flowers and leaves and things like that. I'm going to be using a few different colors. I'm using W+9 Falling Star as a yellow. It's a really gorgeous yellow, and I love that as it dries, it soaks into the paper and it just smooths out. And right now it looks pretty intense, but it does sort of fade back a little bit and becomes more pale. Wanted to mention that I've been using an absorber to clean my stamps as of late. I just cut them into squares and place them in this airtight container because if any of you have tried cleaning your stamps using an absorber before, it's actually a chamois made for when you wash your car, and it's great for cleaning off your stamps, but it has to be a little bit wet, and mine kept drying out, so I decided to put them in an airtight container, and that's really helped. So I'm speeding up all this stamping. I'm also using some soft green ink from Hero Arts, as well as I'll be using some Sparrow ink from Simon Says Stamp here in a little bit. But for all of the floral and leaf stamping, I only use these three colors. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just building out from that heart shape because I want to fill in all the gaps and fill up this entire strip on the side of this cardstock with all of the floral stamping. The cardstock I'm using today is 80-pound Neenah Solar White. I had a bunch of this cardstock cut down to regular A2 card size at a copy center. I just had them use their big cutting machine and cut it all at once. So I have a lot of these pre-cut pieces ready to use whenever I need them. It's a really great way to save time and also make sure that you also have those perfectly sized card fronts. So I'm just filling in with all of these stamps, putting a stem here with a flower on top, and then kind of filling in. I'm trying to not use the same color stamped side by side, but in this case with the top of the yellow flower and the smaller yellow and the other one to the side, it turned out to be okay because I've kind of got that green stem in the center there. I just don't want to do any more yellow stamping up there, so you'll see that I'll put some pink up there above the yellow flower because I want to make sure I get a good variety of color. So now I'm going to do a little bit of stamping with that Sparrow ink that I mentioned earlier. There's a little tiny itty bitty 3-dot stamp in the stamp set, and I thought it'd be nice to just pull in a little bit of this darker contrasting color. I'm going to be using this same ink pad for the greeting, and I wanted to make sure that the greeting wouldn't look out of place. In order to really emphasize the edge of that masking that I did, I decided to take some Simon Says Stamp Fog ink and an ink blending tool and just blend in from that edge. And it doesn't look like there's much ink on there right now, but when I remove that masking tape, you'll be able to see a really clean edge where that masking tape was. So, and I love peeling off masking tape because it's like Christmas, because it's so cool. So I think if I was to do that again, I might mask off that heart because the heart got a little bit dark on top there, but it's not a huge deal. You hardly notice it once you stamp the greeting. So like I mentioned, I'm stamping this greeting in Sparrow, and this is just a greeting from the stamp set, and it's sized perfectly to go over the top of that heart. I'm using that absorber to clean off my stamp again, and it really is a great way to clean your stamps. I'd highly recommend it. So I just snap that lid back on that container, and then those absorber sheets are ready to use the next time I'm making a card. So my card base today is made out of 110-pound Neenah Solar White. So this is heavier white cardstock than I used earlier, and I scored that at 5.5 to create a top folding card. I then put some foam adhesive behind this stamped piece. I also trimmed it down just a tiny bit so it was a little bit smaller than the card front, and pressed it down onto the front. So the last thing I'm going to do on this card is add some enamel accents on top of the flowers here. I'm just going to put it in the center. There wasn't really a center for this large flower, and I wanted to make sure that there was something there, so I thought I would put some white enamel accents on top, and I think it just looks really cool. It brings a little bit of dimension on the card and a little bit of shine. So that is the finished card for today. Make sure you head over to my blog for the rest of the blog hop. You can hop along and see other products that were included in this new release from Simon Says Stamp. And there's also a giveaway, as there usually is with Simon blog hops. So you'll have to head over there to enter yourself into the giveaway. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching today's video. On screen right now are my 3 most recent videos. There's a card video, a jetpens.com haul, and then also a brush lettering quote. So you can check out any of those. I've got a good variety of videos recently. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to visit my blog, you can go to kwernerdesign.com, and you can visit me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest. Thanks for watching.